Home buyers, homeowners, and investors get practical mortgage and real estate insight straight from the pros with your host, Joe Garner.
Welcome, Memphis. Good morning. Welcome to our internet listeners and our podcast listeners across the 50 states. You're on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, and today is June the 6th, 2026. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. Connect with me at jogarner.com. Our general topic is your roof, your real estate, and your wealth, how to protect what matters most. Thank you to attorneys Shelley Rothman and Rob Drawn of Griffin Clift, Everton, and Mashmeyer Law Firm for sponsoring this episode of Real Estate Mortgage Shop. When you're ready to buy a home or refinance one, Shelley Rothman and Rob Drawn can help you with the title work and the closing portion. But we've got Ed Hill of Masters Roofing. He's back in the studio with a topic that I need to spell out just to be clear. Today you're talking...
Please spell it out, Joe.
You're going to be taking us to the University of Hail.
Hail.
Hail. Some of our listeners found themselves in the middle of a lot of hail, Hail, a few days ago. And your team of experts, you guys do a great job helping homeowners with those roof inspections, giving them documentation they need following a hailstorm when it's time to file an insurance claim. Ed Hill of Masters Roofing, take a moment, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and some of the services you offer.
Well, in particular with the hail, Joe, and we're glad we're here today. Thank you. What you don't want to do, in my opinion, is go with the first door-knocking guy who comes across your...
Right.
You know, we're talking about who's going to put the roof on, not just is your home hit with hail and all that. But, people who live in the heart of Olive Branch, they got about 1.5 inches of hail, according to Doppler NOAA research that we do, which that indicates that there's probably a lot of homes down that way. Even if you don't know it, your home probably was hit by fairly large hail, right, anywhere from about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So we're going to talk about hail, and so what? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today in a little bit, Joe.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about some things that even if your house wasn't hit by hail, I think you'll be interested and need to know some information. But, you know, our topic about protecting what matters most reminds me of a fable called The Horse and His Rider. A horse owner used his horse primarily for battle and heavy labor. In times of war, he fed the horse rich oats and tended to his gear, treating it with great importance. However, during times of peace, the man became lazy. He put the saddle away, and he stopped checking on it, and he stopped checking on the horse's health. And when war suddenly broke out again, this man hurriedly threw the old saddle back on the horse, but because the gear was decayed and the horse was weakened by no exercise, it buckled, the horse stumbled and threw its rider in the midst of the battle. The moral of the story, I think everybody's already probably figured it out. If you want something to serve you longer, we need to take good care of it constantly.
Yes. Regardless
of whether it's an object, an animal, a relationship, or a job, or maybe even your home and your finances. But I want to say this to any of our listeners out there who do not own their own home. They don't have their name on the title of the home where they live. If you're not planning to move out of the area over the next couple of years, then, you know, I would suggest buying a home. And you may say, well, I can't buy a home. I don't have enough money, or I've got a few dings on my credit, or I don't think they can use my income. There's a plethora of reasons why people say, I can't buy a home.
Can't never did anything. You know what I mean?
Right, Ed.
All right. So come on, folks. Listen to Joe.
So, you know, Ed, you don't have to know how to fix everything. Just come to me.
Right.
I've been in the business 38 years, and there are so many solutions to these common barriers that people see keeping them from buying a home. So I would say own your own home, because historically homeowners are much wealthier and have more options in life because their home typically goes up in value over time while they sleep.
Right.
So connect with me at jogarner.com. I can help you. You don't have to know how to do it. All right, common areas you need to review and improve if you want to take care of what matters most. How is your emergency fund? Do you check up with your certified financial planner every now and then, or your advisor? That's a good idea. Some of the online pros suggest having a minimum of 3 to 6 months of living expenses in an emergency fund, a rainy day fund.
Right.
12 months if you're self-employed. But you know what? You can take a deep breath. Feel some peace of mind knowing that you have options when the unexpected stuff happens in life. Like medical expenses, loss of a job, car repairs, or your roof springs a leak and you need a new one before the leak causes more damage. Ed, your emergency fund is the financial equivalent of having a tarp ready before the storm arrives.
Well, Joe, let me ask you about that. Give me a couple of ways somebody can be prepared in advance for things that might happen to their home, or that might happen to keep them from purchasing a home.
Well, the common barriers that people perceive keep them from buying a home is credit and not enough money to close. Maybe their income they're self-employed, they don't show a lot of income on their tax returns. Maybe there's a problem with the property. Well, there are special loans to help you get over each one of the barriers I just mentioned. Now, another thing that I see agents do, and I think it's a great idea, is they try to get the seller to buy a home warranty program for the home buyer coming in, so that if something happens, in most cases, that home warranty is going to pay for it.
Right. Well, I think that's a great idea. But, Joe, I can just picture some listeners out there right now thinking, what you're saying sounds good, but I just don't know all the answers, Joe. What should they do? I mean, should they study this for 2 more years or what?
Just call me.
Call Joe.
I'm telling you, we've been there, done that for 38 years and had many celebrations at the closing table with people who thought or had been told, you can't do that. Well, you can. I love what you said. Can't never did do anything. Think about
That's
can.
For sure.
Number 2, things to do if you want to take care of what matters most. Do you have enough insurance coverage? If you're involved in a car accident where someone gets seriously harmed, do you have enough insurance to cover their expenses or, God forbid, a lawsuit? Consider getting a general umbrella policy for extra protection of your assets. Does your insurance still cover today's replacement cost in case of damage to your home? Maybe flood insurance, maybe you need more liability insurance. What is your deductible? Ed, you see how important good insurance is for your roof customers.
Yeah, and Joe, I run into this quite often where people don't really know what their insurance covers and doesn't cover, and it changes, and they don't know it. Mm-hmm. And they find out too late that their insurance actually does not cover things that it used to, mm-hmm. or that they assume that it covered. I got a question though about the whole insurance thing. It's sort of kind of what I was asking before. Does somebody have to go take a course on insurance to figure this out, or do you have resources that can help them figure it out?
You don't have to know all the answers. You just have to know the people. And if you come to me or Ed, we have a hub of trustworthy, good people that can help you. But Ed, we've got a couple of minutes or so before we go to our first ad break. And, you've got some valuable instruction on how to deal with hail on the roof and how to best protect our home following storms.
Right. Well, Joe, we're going to have Hail University. That's Hail, folks. Hail University, how hail damages roofs. And before we launch into this, it might be of interest to some of your listeners to know that hail is mentioned in the Bible, and it is one of God's weapons of judgment. Did you know that?
Now that you mention it, yeah, I can see that it would be.
And I'll give you some examples. You can find that in the Psalms. You can find it, for example, in the book of the Revelation. So we could talk about that more if you call me.
Yeah.
But Hail is the mystery weather phenom that's often unnoticed because you're at work or you're asleep or you're out of the country. So you don't know it happened. You're just unaware of it. But it can leave roofs, Joe, seriously damaged, whether you know about it or not. That's the important thing. And here's the crazy thing, though. The effects of the damage may not show up until months later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But there's an old saying among roofers, I mean, this is like hundreds of years old, that spring's hailstorm, Joe, is winter's leak. Have you ever heard that?
I think
spring's hailstorm
come
is
out of
winter's
Bangor,
leak.
Maine.
Probably for somebody like, I made it up in Maine, something like that.
But you can't get there from here.
So the point is, you may say, oh, I know for sure I don't have any hail. I know it was just a little bit. It didn't do anything. No, you don't know all that. You don't know that. So we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But Hail University.
Yes. I think I'm sitting in my desk ready to take notes. Well, you're on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. What do you want to accomplish with your mortgage? I can make the process easy for you with the right mortgage program. Connect with me today, jogarner.com. When we come back, we're going to be hearing more from Ed Hill of Masters Roofing. We're also going to have Lynn and Troy McDonald of Erin McDonald Insurance Agency call in with us some really good insurance tips. So hang out with us. Ed, how do we contact you?
Just call me directly, 901-273-6594.
We'll see you guys back in just a moment. Real Estate Mortgage Shop provides general information, not an offer to lend. Joe Garner, Talk Shop Real Estate Mortgage Shop, does not endorse 100% of the information covered on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Consult with your certified advisors before acting on any information given on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Joe Garner is a licensed mortgage loan officer, NMLS 757308, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hello, I'm Ken Sullivan with Tax Matters Solved. You're listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Now back to your host, Joe Garner.
Okay, it's time for comic queries. All right, Ed, you've got a riddle for us.
Yes, I think William Shakespeare wrote this. All right, here we go.
Doubtful.
I pound on the rooftops, but I have no hands. I cover the pavement, yet have no white bands. I shatter the silence and dent up your car. I come from the clouds, but I'm no shooting star.
Everybody that's heard that knows the answer.
Who am I?
A hailstorm.
A hailstorm. That's right.
Ding, ding, I get to win.
I think Joe wrote it, but she won't admit it.
No, I won't admit it. Well, today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, we're talking about your roof and your real estate and your wealth, how to protect what matters most. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer for your home purchase or your refinance. I can give you some loans, a loan program that you can brag about, and we can find the right mortgage product and we can make the process easy, Ed. On a traditional mortgage, maybe you need special financing, special programs, or even an outside-of-the-box mortgage program. Connect with me, jogarner.com. Ed Hill of Masters Roofing in Bartlett, Tennessee. How do we contact you?
Just call 901-273-6594 and ask for Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed.
Right.
Okay. Well, we're going to do something we like to do almost every week. It's called the Talk Shop Business Tip. And Talk Shop is one of our major sponsors of Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Talk Shop offers free networking and education to our local business community, real estate community. And if you join as a Talk Shop sponsor, you can get a wide variety of marketing venues at below market prices. But go to talkshoppe.com to find out where the events are, the topics, and all of that. It's free to the public. Thank you to Troy and Lynn McDonald of Erin McDonald Insurance Agency for your support of our real estate community through your Talk Shop sponsorship. You both have been recognized as top producers nationally in your insurance career, and a big part of your secret is the way you put customers first. Troy and Lynn McDonald, we've got them on the phone. You guys, what is our Talk Shop tip today? And I have a feeling, Ed, it's about insurance.
I bet.
You bet.
Go ahead, you guys.
Not only about insurance, but also we want to give praise to Ed Hill and Masters Roofing, who have personally helped us with our roof and other construction things. So, yay, Ed.
Thank you.
But one of the tips, when you replace your roof, if it's done by insurance, that's one thing. The insurance company is aware. But if you replace your roof and it's not claim related, you really need to get that information to your agent, because the newer the roof, the cheaper the insurance is.
Right.
Yes, Joe and Ed, you get a little bit of a discount, and it lasts for many, many years. But the other tip that we have is the warranty that you have on your roof. If you have a warranty and you're buying a new home, see if that warranty can be put into the new buyer's name. It adds a lot, and, of course, then it'll help you down the road in case there are some roof problems.
Right.
So it's always nice to check see how old that roof is when you're buying the house. Not that it makes a big difference on buying the house, but if it's a relatively new roof, you may be able to qualify for that warranty at no extra cost to you, just changing the name over.
Well, you know what? I want to
thank
I want to thank you guys for helping me when I had two branches go through my roof. You guys really helped me get my insurance claim accepted. You and Ed Hill both, so y'all are wonderful at doing that. How do we?
Joe, we're just glad to have them. We try to keep the customer first, and we're a team player when it comes to helping our customers.
How do our listeners contact you if they're interested in getting some insurance?
The best way is by cell number 901-849-7101. We are eager to help you and earn your business.
Lynn and Troy McDonald of Erin McDonald Insurance Agency, thank you so much for being on Real Estate Mortgage Shop today. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
My pleasure.
Take care.
See you, Joe. See you, Ed. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, Ed, we were talking about this spring's roof damage will be this fall's leaks.
Yeah, and hail, because that hailstorm that dropped significant hail in your area, it could have damaged your roof, but the effects show up later in the future. See, Joe, hailstorms strike your roof, let's say in June. You might not see the leaking until the winter comes along with changes in temps, and start seeing, like, where'd that leak come from, from November to February. That's fairly common with significant hail. So the damage it leads to roof leaks in the colder months often occurred in the previous spring or summer.
So if there is a hailstorm we know about, it's really a good idea to get a free inspection.
Yep, I think so. If there's no damage on it, great. You have peace of mind. But if there is, then that's something that should probably be addressed, if the hail's large enough. But let's talk about how hail damages a roof, Joe. Hail strikes at high velocity. That can be anywhere from roughly 40 miles an hour to over 100 miles an hour, depending on the size of the hail. Think about that. Think of shooting marbles at your roof with a paintball gun. You think it would damage it?
Yeah.
You bet. The tiny rocks called granules on the shingles are held on by the asphalt, and they're knocked off by the hail. And this can crack the matting on the bottom side of the shingle, but you can't see it. So these hail impressions are like craters on the moon, and they cause bruising on the face of the shingle, which weakens the shingle. It's like a chain of dominoes.
But when you're up on the roof, or you have your guy up on the roof, they can already tell if there's damage. We
can tell how large the strikes were, and sometimes you can feel underneath the shingle to see if there's like a pucker on the bottom of the shingle. And once all this happens, the asphalt holding the granules on, it just starts rolling off, and the fiberglass mat of the shingle's exposed to the UV rays of the sun.
Oh, my goodness.
Look,
that's why it takes time for that leak to manifest.
If you think I'm making this up, look it up and prove me right. And you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be sitting down at Thanksgiving Day meal or Christmas Eve and say, my roof's leaking. Well, we're not coming on Thanksgiving Day or Christmas Eve, right?
Right.
So, but that's how that happens. And, we haven't even discussed damage to the metals like the pipes, the gutters, and all of that. But if you believe your roof was struck by hail, the best thing to do is to get a qualified inspection. And Ed Hill with Masters Roofing is volunteering to help you with that.
Well, Ed Hill of Masters Roofing, how do we contact you?
Just call 901-273-6594 and be sure you ask for Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed, he'll take care of you. Well, you're on Real Estate Mortgage Shop. I'm Joe Garner, your host. I'm a mortgage officer. What do you want to accomplish with your mortgage? I can help you find the right one to give you bragging rights and make the process easy. 901-482-0354. 901-482-0354. We'll see you guys back in just a moment.
You're listening to mortgage expert Joe Garner, author of Choosing the Best Mortgage, the Quickest Way to the Life You Want. And she is a golden nugget from her book. You can order Joe's book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Hey, Joe, you talk about treasure hunting in your book. Can you tell us what that is?
Treasure hunting from funds to close. There's still 100% loan programs out there, down payment assistance, gifts from family, cash value on life insurance, and lots of ways that you can find money you didn't know you had.
Order the book today. You'll be glad you did.
Good morning. I'm Preston Wilson, an estate planning and probate lawyer in Memphis, Tennessee. You're listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Now back to your host, Joe Garner.
Well, it's time for Did You Know? And I bet you do know. And here is our question. What is the nickname of one of the strongest windstorms to ever hit Memphis, Tennessee in this century? Hint number one, this storm swept through Memphis, Tennessee with little warning on July the 22nd, 2003, with winds over 100 miles per hour, taking out power to over 70% of the city.
Wow.
Hint number two, you've already guessed it, I know. This storm tore trees right out of the ground, snapped power poles, shattered windows, devastating the city in a matter of minutes. What's the nickname for this storm?
Joe, I didn't live here then, but I've been told 100 times, Hurricane Elvis.
Hurricane Elvis, yes.
My customers always bring up Hurricane Elvis.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Well, you are so right. Today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, we're talking about your roof and your real estate and your wealth, how to protect what matters most. I'm your host, Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. You don't have to know everything about mortgages. You just call me, and believe me, we're going to put some resources together. We just need to know what you want to accomplish, and we'll help you do the rest. Connect with me at jogarner.com. You can also call or text 901-482-0354, 901-482-0354. And we have Ed Hill in the house with Masters Roofing. Ed, how do we contact you?
Just call 901-273-6594 and ask for Ed.
Okay, so we're talking about how to protect what matters most, your real estate, your wealth, and all of that, your roof. Most homeowners know a damaged roof can threaten their home, but did you know the wrong mortgage, missed maintenance, or neglected home equity can threaten your financial future just as quickly?
That's not good, Joe.
It's not good. You got to be diligent here. Today, we're talking about how to protect your roof, your real estate, your wealth, because they all work together to protect what matters most. All right, so earlier in the show, I had covered a couple of first things you need to do to protect yourself. How do you have an emergency fund? We covered that. Do you have enough insurance coverage? We had Troy and Lynn McDonald of Erin McDonald Insurance Agent call in and do some tips. Number 3, mortgage checkup. Does your mortgage still fit your life? Life changes. Your mortgage strategy may need to change too. Let me give you some examples of just even recently clients that I've had. Al and Annie had been running a successful business when the pandemic hit their business. Their whole businesses came to a halt, and they only partially recovered. Al and Annie racked up credit card debt to get through those rough spots. And even though the business is doing better today, the interest they were paying on the credit cards have moved from where it was like 12% interest then. It's almost 30%.
Wow.
And it's compounding. I know some of our listeners are like, oh yeah, because you've probably experienced that too. By doing a cash out refinance on their home, and they had over $40,000 in credit card debt, high interest rates on those.
Right.
By doing a cash out refinance, we were able to lower their monthly debt payments overall, by over $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Now, the new mortgage had a little higher rate on it than their older mortgage did, but when we moved over all of that high interest rate credit card debt, it made a huge difference in the overall debt they were paying. So it was a big win for Al and Annie to regroup, refinance. One of my clients, another one, was a widow, and she and her husband had paid the mortgage down about a third of what the original balance was. But when her husband went through a long illness and racked up medical bills, the answer for them was to refinance their mortgage back to a longer term to lower the note significantly so that they could breathe financially and get through their rough spot. And by doing that, it dropped the payment several $100s a month. And again, once the rough spot's over, you can still make prepayments to principal and catch back up again and get that mortgage paid off early. Another set, and I've got a larger, it's getting larger every day, another set of borrowers whose mortgage they need to change for their lifestyle are borrowers over 62 years old who plan to age in place in the same home where they're living. The government-backed home equity conversion reverse mortgage can allow them to live comfortably in their home with no mortgage payment at all. Some reverse borrowers choose to use the credit line to pay their property taxes, insurance, and other expenses. Some of them actually get payments paid to them each month to take care of things. So the freedom of living with no mortgage payment while still feeling secure that the home is theirs along with the equity, it's golden. It's golden. Talk about taking care of yourself.
Let me ask you a question on that, Joe. So the scary stories people have heard in recent years about that, this type of product solves all those problems.
This is what I'm going to say. I've been on the air for over 15 years, and for the first several years, I was saying reverse mortgage is a last resort. The government has these government reverse mortgages. I'm talking about government reverse mortgages, government-backed ones.
Right.
They've really improved. Helping the borrower as well as their family members stay in the home as long as they want to, and also keeping the equity in the home. So it's really become quite attractive.
Wow. Yeah.
So if you want to know more about that, call me. Okay, number 4, ways to protect what matters most. Consumer debt and your credit. Pay attention. Where is your money leaking out? High interest rate loans like credit cards, we just talked about that. Personal loans and other debt drain your income, trying to cover those interest costs. Keep your credit card balances low so that you're only using less than 30% of your credit limit. I say 25%. Never, ever use more than 25% of your credit limit on a revolving credit card.
Right.
And if you do that, you make your payments on time, you're going to be pleasantly surprised that your credit score is going to stay pretty high. And the higher your credit score, the lower your borrowing costs, whether you're doing a refinance or buying a house or buying a car. What is the interest rate you're paying on your credit cards today, and what are you paying for interest on your other debt? Find out. It may be time to restructure. If you're paying double-digit interest rates on other stuff, let's just take a test drive and see if a refinance is going to really help you.
Yeah.
Retirement savings, number 5. Are you paying yourself first? Check with your financial advisor on this, but setting up auto payments to your 401k or an IRA can really help you protect what matters most later in life. Number 7, estate and beneficiary review. If something happened to you today or tomorrow, would your wishes be carried out the way that you want? Talk with an estate attorney about your beneficiaries, get a will, trust documents, maybe a power of attorney. You may need that now, but those are ways. And I just want to mention really quickly, I've had many customers that have come in and they had problems with their credit. Maybe they had problems with other things, and maybe it took a while to work through it, but we worked through it together. And I had a client, and they were shopping for houses, and they just couldn't afford it. I mean, so what we did was we said, look, they looked at their budget, and they went through their credit cards and statements and their bank statements and all of that. And they just took several hours one day and just went through there and categorized. And they saw, wow, we're spending a whole lot of money over here on this. We could still get the joy of life getting this service, but we don't have to buy it there. We could buy it over here and pay a lot less. We doing substitution, doing a little bartering with friends, and they got their budget down so that they could afford to buy a house that they really wanted. And they built up a little emergency fund and all of that. And I'll tell you how this particular couple did it. They said, we're going to pay 10% off the top to our church or a charity. And we're going to ask our employer to take the next 10% out of our earnings. Actually, they took 10% off the top of their earnings to pay into their 401k. They started doing that. The other 80% of their funds, they paid bills, taxes, and they started gradually paying off credit cards and some other stuff. The pain and frustration they felt when they started budgeting turned into a real sense of confidence. They were so happy. They actually said, this is fun. This is a game, and we're winning. But this couple had a clear vision of what they wanted their life to look like. And they had a clear vision of what their budget looked like after they did all of that. But the realtor helped them find a house that was a starter. It wasn't their dream home. It was a step up. And I helped them with some down payment assistance and a lower than market rate for first-time home buyers and all of that. And they were so pleased, and we had a big celebration. But whatever your story is, it may not be their story, but call me, text me, connect with me. I would love to be on your journey. I want to hear your story. Hear what you want, and let's do some test drives. I'm Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer, and I can work with you here in the Mid-South or anywhere in the United States. JoGarner.com. We have Ed Hill of Masters Roofing in the house. Ed, how do we contact you?
Just call this number, 901-273-6594, and be sure you ask for me, Ed Hill.
Right. You don't have to know how to do all of the roof stuff. You don't have to know all the mortgage stuff. Just have to pick up the phone, text, call, connect with us. We can help you.
It's easy.
Right. Yes, it's easy. All right, so stay tuned because we've got more coming, and we'll see you guys back after this break.
Hi, I'm Mark McLaurin at Refrigeration Unlimited in Memphis, Tennessee. You're listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. Now back to your host, Joe Garner.
Okay, time for insights and inspiration. Today's story is called Protect What Matters Most. In the late 70s, a now famous creator, director, producer, and screenwriter had sunk all of his worldly wealth into making a movie he felt in his heart would be a blockbuster hit with many more to come. The problem? He ran out of money. The studio company didn't really believe his movie idea would work, but made him some offers that would give the studio control and ownership of almost everything, including the right to stop the production. After some desperate soul-searching, this movie creator realized the movie nobody believed in, but in his heart and soul, he wanted to make it work. It was his life's work. He turned down the first offer from the studio and made them an unusual offer, not asking for money, but buying time and keeping to himself what he knew mattered the most, the rights to his movie characters, images, sequels, and future merchandise. In 1977, George Lucas released the movie Star Wars. To Fox Studios' surprise, the movie exploded in popularity around the globe. The sequels and anything connected to the Star Wars brand dumped millions of dollars in Lucas's bank account. In an interview with Carrie Fisher years later, the actress who played Princess Leia, Carrie laughed, and when she told the interviewer, she said, "Every time I see my face in the mirror, I owe George Lucas a couple of bucks." Lucas later sold his rights to Disney for $4 billion. What are some things that matter most to you? Is it your family? Is it a calling you have on your life? Among other things are some of the largest investments you make that sustain your quality of life. Your home is a large investment that matters. Own it. Take care of it. Use it as a resource to make your life better. Today on Real Estate Mortgage Shop, we're talking about your roof, your real estate, and your wealth. How to protect what matters most. I'm Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. I can help you with a home purchase or a refinance. JoGarner.com. We have Ed Hill of Masters Roofing in the house. How do we contact you, Ed?
901-273-6594.
We're going to do something we like to do every week. The real estate tip of the week. Ed, you have a real estate tip of the week for us.
Okay, we've been talking about hail. Hail. One thing, when you talk about hail, one thing's for sure, Joe, it's the damage that you don't see that could lead to future leaks and interior damages. So be proactive to be protected. In other words, get your roof inspected to find out. If it's not damaged, great.
You do the inspections free.
Yep, we sure do.
All right. Well, there you go. That's your answer. You don't have to know, but you need to know, and you can have Ed help you find out.
Yep.
Is that a good summary?
Yeah, especially if you live in Olive Branch, which on Joe, I think you saw the map that I provided. It's one big red circle.
Yes.
And Doppler and NOAA and all of that said about 1.5 inches hail probably landed in Olive Branch.
Well, I have a tip. And if one of you, we talked about many barriers, and there's a lot of ways to get over every barrier if you're trying to buy a house or get a house in that way. I'm going to say that not many people know there's a government program out there that for the first 5 years, you can enjoy a rate in the low fives. I mean, on a $200,000 loan compared to what the rates are today, that would make your payment about $150-something less a month. You could enjoy.
Right.
But that's just one of many renovation loans. We have special loans for self-employed people, first-time home buyers, down payment assistance. Call or text me today, 901-482-0354 or jogarner.com. Talk Shop is one of our main sponsors. We want to say thank you to them. They have free education and networking every week, 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. Currently, they're at the Independent Planning Group's conference room, number 110 at Clark Tower, 5100 Poplar Avenue. That's in Memphis on the first floor. Thank you to Ben Hunter, an outstanding financial professional at Independent Planning Group, for being Talk Shop's location sponsor. But to find out more about locations and events, talk, SHOPPE.com. This Wednesday, June 10th, 2026, 9 a.m., we have Sharon O'Quinn, and she is talking about film as an economic engine, behind-the-scenes look at Memphis and Shelby County Film and Television Commission. Thank you to your support for our business community with your Talk Shop sponsorship to Zach Roberts of ZR Creations. He can help your business thrive using creative digital marketing strategies to bring the right customers to your business. Contact Zach Roberts at Zach, that's ZACH, at zrcreations.com. Congratulations to Talk Shop sponsor Redeemers Group Foundation and Crawl Space Repair. They were recently named top small business in the large category at the Memphis Business Journal Small Business Awards ceremony. For advice on repair solutions for your home foundation or crawl space, contact Redeemers Group, redeemersgroup.com. Make your plan. Let's work your plan. If the deal works for you today, let's do it today. Subscribe for our weekly Real Estate Mortgage Shop podcast with show notes at jogarner.com. And Ed, I've got a quote from Partner Content, and here it is. You'd be surprised how quickly an employee at Home Depot will assist you when you try to start a chainsaw. Have you ever tried that?
Not in Home Depot.
No, I haven't. I'm going to say I haven't. But
maybe I
else?
should try that today, Joe.
Well, Maybe not. I'd like to have you back in the studio again.
We should go in and threaten it. I'm going to start a chainsaw here.
Boy, I tell you what, and those places are busy these days. I'm going over there today because people are doing their home improvements and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, owning a home is a great thing, Joe, and it's always something, right? You got to take care of them, and so they can take care of us.
Well, our home does take care of us, and I've had so many stories of people who own their home. They put so much into it, and they kept it up, and then later in life, that home was able to pay them back.
Yeah.
And it could be, like if they have to move out, they rent it out, and they get rental income. It could be they're doing a reverse mortgage, and the mortgage company pays them instead of them having to pay the mortgage company. But be good to your house, and your house will be good to you. And that is one of the biggest ways, I would say. Owning your own home or owning a number of homes is the way to take care of what matters most.
Okay. Well, Joe, I just want to reemphasize to our listeners today, if you have some mortgage issues or questions, you do not have to know the strategy you need to use. In fact, what you should do is just call Joe, say, Joe, I don't know. That's why I'm calling you. And I'm pretty sure, Joe, that the 1-800 numbers for companies can't help like that.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate Mortgage Shop. I'm Joe Garner. I'm a mortgage officer. Connect with me today, jogarner.com. We have Ed Hill of Masters Roofing in the house. Ed, how do we contact you?
901-273-6594.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Check our podcast, show notes at jogarner.com. See you guys back next week.